Coffee with Coach.
Okay, welcome back to Coffee with Coach. This is Kristen Holbrooks, head coach of the Lake Dallas High School volleyball team. I am joined today for our second episode with soon-to-be senior outside hitter Ashley Machuca, who is not only a great volleyball player, but equally great human. Before we start getting to know Ashley beyond the court, which is the name of our first series, I want to share with you the accolades this young lady has acquired over her time at Lake Dallas. The soon-to-be senior, like I said, class of 2022, is a returning six-rotation pin hitter. She is a 2-year varsity letterman. She received All-District Honorable Mention awards last season, as well as Academic All-District. Ashley also competes in competitive cheer and is a 4-time NCAA champ. She is a CA icon. She is the LFA Cheers Best Tumbler. Ashley also competes for track at Lake Dallas. This year, she received second place in the district track meet with pole vault. She tied the school record, clearing 9.4. She advanced to the area meet, and at the area meet, she decided to beat her own PR and school record, clearing 9.6. And then just recently, she competed at regionals where she broke, once again, her own PR and school record for the second time, clearing 10 feet. Since this is Coffee with Coach, I have decided to up my Starbucks game and partake in the choice of coffee that each athlete chooses. So, Ashley, before we start, what is our coffee of choice today?
Well, here, Coach Holbrooks, we got a vanilla bean frappuccino with caramel drizzle. Top of the line.
Full of protein and no sugar.
Yep.
Awesome.
Don't tell Coach Nick.
Okay, so to start off, Ash, why volleyball?
Really in middle school, my parents pushed me to try all the sports there, and I was an athlete who didn't like off-season, so I would go and do every single sport there was. And since middle school, I've just loved it and keep doing it.
Good. Do you feel like you've grown from middle school to now as a player and as a person?
Yes. From the player standpoint, it's not like I didn't take it seriously in middle school, but now I do. I go to privates, I go work with different coaches, and as a person, I'm more outgoing and more committed and more into the things I do and have like a more positive mindset about things.
Very good. So I talked with Kaylin about this a little bit, and through athletics as coaches, we hope that you guys take home some life lessons as well. What do you think the most important life lesson is that you've learned through competing in athletics?
To always compete as hard as you can, because you never know when the last time it will be. Like with Corona and all that, like that really changed my whole mindset and outlook of things, because you never know when the last time you'll put on a jersey or be on the court or just be with your friends in general.
Okay, so when we talk about bringing an entire package, you are very unique in our program because you are so dynamic, meaning we can put you anywhere on the court. You can adapt to and buy into any position. But you also, as I mentioned earlier, have a list of awards through other competitive sports that you participate in. So talk to us about the pros, the good things, and the bad things about being a multi-sport athlete.
The pros would be you're always in shape, so that's a good thing. You always have something to do. Like, you're not just, like, sitting around doing nothing. And you're always, like, meeting new people, trying new things, being put in uncomfortable situations to make you a better athlete. And the cons would have to be your body never gets the proper rest. It's hard to hang out with friends and family because of everything I do. And just making time in general for things is very difficult.
So you talked about not being able to find enough time for rest. What are, because I know you've had some ongoing, I don't really want to say injuries, but they are, but because you're so active, we don't really call them injuries because you're never out and injured. But what are some things that you have struggled with injury-wise, so to speak, just because of everything that you do, because you play a lot of sports and you do a lot of things that require a lot of jumping.
I'd say my legs have taken a toll a lot. Both legs, every joint, everything just taken a toll. But with the proper care, they've been getting better and better and better. But it's still, there.
So do you think, a personal opinion, because I know you know what my opinion is on this, but do you feel like strength training is vital in order to help you be a multi-sport athlete and hopefully not get those injuries?
Of course. Like, once I wasn't doing, weightlifting and stuff, that's when my, legs really, couldn't handle things. And then we started doing weightlifting and summer stuff, and my body never felt better than that.
How do you find balance with all of this? Because I know during our season, it's if you don't have volleyball going on, you have cheer going on, and then you do pole vault private lessons and all of that. How I would go insane, first of all. In my calendar, I would probably run out of colors to write the different activities in. So how do you find balance with all of that?
Balance is definitely not in my vocabulary. It's very difficult. Most of the time, me and my parents kind of just wing it of what's going to happen. Usually it's one practice, an hour later I have to go to another, or something happens and it cancels and we have to go to something else. So it's kind of just like a go with the flow type thing every day, and we'll see what happens. But balance is very hard for me.
Gotcha. So being on several different teams, because you talked about how you get to meet lots of different people throughout the different sports that you play, what do you feel like is the most challenging and the most rewarding part about being on a team?
The most challenging is having to deal with all the ups and downs or drama of a team, because no team wants that. All you want is a successful year. But I'd say that's the most challenging. And some of the practices really do be challenging your body sometimes. But the most rewarding is seeing that your body can handle situations. Winning is definitely one of the biggest ones. And just having a good environment with everybody, not always bickering with each other, but just having fun.
You talked about this a little bit earlier too. How did COVID impact you being able to compete, I would say, with both volleyball and cheer?
I'd say it changed my mindset for sure, and it just made me want to be that much better of an athlete, where I would go into the gym more, get more reps in, do things that others aren't doing so I can better myself and better my team and program.
So mentally, because you are teenagers, and I know the social aspect, not being around your teammates, how did you overcome not having that social part of being on a team or going to practices or school? How did that impact you, and how did you overcome it?
That was very difficult because I'm such a social person,
yes.
And talking to everybody just made everything better. But since my whole family was home, it was a lot easier because I had my two brothers to talk to. But after a while, it's I want to see my friends. But how I thought of it as, once this is over, life's going to be back to somewhat reality, somewhat normal. And I just kept that mindset the whole time, because if I had a bad mindset, then it was going to be bad.
Yeah. What do you think you're going to take away from athletics beyond the court? Stuff you can take with you to college or even further in life when you start a career?
Just to always work hard, because if you don't expect things to come to you. You got to work for them. And that's the biggest thing that I will take away from this, because working hard in anything, a job, sports, school, you have to do your own work. You have to make sure that you are on top of your stuff, so that way you could be better in the future.
And I know I can relate that to volleyball a little bit with you, because this past season you had to work really hard to earn your spot on the court, because towards end of season your role on the court looks totally different than it did at the beginning. You ended up being a great 6 rotation player for us. Did you have a similar experience with cheer, or was it pretty much, I know my role and I'm top dog?
Pretty much I know my role, because if you one little slip up at cheer and they just want to instantly, oh, you're off, get somebody different. So
Nice.
always got to be focused and aware of what's happening.
Gotcha. When you put on your jersey for the last time next season, do you feel like you're going to be able to walk away saying that you left Lake Dallas Volleyball better than it was when you joined it?
I'd say yes.
Okay. How so?
Because I see myself as a person who likes to spread like positive vibes, and I feel like the environment is getting better and more healthy, I would say, and more like fun. Like people want to go to practice, people want to go to volleyball. Even though everybody hates it, like they all still go to gut check, but like you just have to look at the positive side of it. And by being positive, I feel like more people are realizing that, and they're like, oh, okay, like we have something to look forward to.
Very good. Okay. So we've learned a lot about you and the athletic side of you. Let's get to know a little bit about your plans down the future. So if we're talking about college, you will be a senior.
Woo!
Are there any dream schools that, since maybe you were a kid, you want to go to, or what's your college plan?
My dream school since I was younger was definitely UT and UCLA. Those are like my 2 dream schools that I've always wanted to go to. But now I'm looking more at like somewhere close by, but somewhere not too far away. Enough away from my parents, far enough, but enough time where I can come back home. Somewhere in the middle, so like somewhere in like Oklahoma or Kansas, Missouri, somewhere along those borders.
Gotcha. So far enough away to have a little personal space, create yourself, but close enough to go home to a good cooked meal by mom.
Yes.
Gotcha. Do you know what you want to major in?
Business or kinesiology. I either want to be a judge, which that was my dream career ever since I could remember, or be a physical therapist, which started in like 8th grade. I've always been thinking about those 2 because I'm a really good like debater, I would say, or argument person. And so that's just always been like my thing. And like I always watched Judge Judy too when I was younger.
Oh,
Judge
yeah.
Judy was always on the TV. I was just there watching. And I was like, how in the world are these people doing this? And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And ever since then, I've always wanted to be a judge. And being a physical therapist, whenever I get injuries, I always look at what they're doing, and I'm like, this seems fun. Like, I want to help people. I want to help people get better, because if these people help me get better, I just want to help others, so that way they don't have to, like, keep going down, and they can just keep going up when they get hurt.
There you go. That positive lifestyle.
Yep.
So you mentioned, or you got a little excited when I said mom's home cooking. So tell us a little bit about the dynamics of your family.
I have 2 brothers, both of which are in college, and then my mom and dad, and my dog. I have a Rottweiler. His name's Kilo.
Oh, nice.
He's about 160 pounds.
Kilo.
Yep. But my brothers, they're both collegiate, I guess that's how you say, athletes. One goes to a JUCO and plays baseball, and then the other one goes to a D1 and plays football. And the older one is a junior, I believe, and then the middle one is a sophomore. So,
Do you have a favorite?
no.
Okay.
I love them both.
Good answer.
I cannot. They're both my best friends, so.
Awesome. So what about mom? How has she impacted your life?
A lot. She's taken so much time from her day to help me get to different places. Whenever I was younger, I would have a soccer game, and right after soccer, I would have cheer, or I would have a soccer game, and then my brother's baseball game, and then my brother's football game. So my mom would have to go one place, leave early, go to the next place, leave early, and then still managed to come pick all of us up when my dad was out of town. But when he was here, it was just like dad at this game, mom at this game, dad at this game. So like by doing that, showing me how much they care, like really pushed me as an athlete and made me want to work harder because they're taking out the time to take me places, to be there and support me. And my job is just to work hard and show them that their time isn't going to waste at all.
Can appreciate that. I bet she does too. So your mom, very unique person for our program as well. Just a little bit about that. I've been at Lake Dallas for 2 years, and over the course of those 2 years, something that we have done growing the program, your mom has helped tremendously with. It's getting kids involved in volleyball outside of school so they can start at a younger age. So talk to us a little bit about the organization that your mom helps run and what all it entails.
So my mom is a coach at the AAA Volleyball Club, and her job, like not job, but like what she wants is for athletes to come to her with either little to no experience so she can help them with their basics, because some places don't teach them the basics and they kind of just throw them in. So she helps them being more comfortable on the court, more comfortable around new people, getting new skills, working hard. So once they do get to middle school, high school, they understand like volleyball. And by that, she just wants to help everybody. Like it's not always she just wants it for me, but she also wants to help others that don't have the proper like technique, proper coaching, and just wants to make everything better, make everyone better, and have a more successful season.
Very good. And yeah, this year we actually had 2 6th grade incoming 7th grade Future Falcon volleyball teams that were run out of that program. So that's helping us tremendously. You mentioned that Dad, during the competitive sports with all 3 of you, was out of town. What does he do?
Okay. He's worked here for a really long time. He's marketing. Mm-hmm. Like he sells ads, I think. And I think that's what it is. He's into marketing and business and that. But it's like the websites, you know how like when you search something up, like the top thing, that's mm-hmm. what he sells, like the number 1 spot. So they're like more well known, I think.
Gotcha.
And I think he also like kind of works with Google a little bit, working somewhat with them. I always forget. He tells me all the time. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then like the next day I forget what he does.
That explains it. I mean, the Google search.
So
you want the number 1 spot? Contact Ashley Stepp.
Yeah.
Good. Let's see. Talk to me a little bit about, do you have a quote that you like to live by in life? Do you have a philosophy for your life? Or what's your life's motto, theme, quote?
The quote would be, all I know is that I never wanted to be average, by Michael Jordan. It started in middle school when my parents were like, Ashley, you don't want to be average. You don't want to be an average human being. You want to be different. You want to stand out, be unique. And I was like, okay. So like every time I would do bad at a game, they'll be like, you're average. You're just average. You're not good. You're just average. And I was like, okay. So like that just stuck through my head ever since now. Like in my locker last year, that was my quote. And every time, like, I just want to be above average. I don't want to be average. I don't want to be known as, like, an average person. I want to be known as someone, like, who's different than others and stands out in a positive way. And that's pretty much my quote.
Very good. What future goals do you have for yourself?
Future goals would be to go to college for sure, play a sport in college. Not sure which one, though, because I'm looking at pole vaulting and volleyball. I don't want to do cheer in college because I'm not a fan of sideline cheer.
So wait. If you don't do the woo sideline cheer, what kind of explain details. What competitive cheer stuff do you do? What's the difference between woo cheer and competitive cheer?
The difference for woo cheer, you practice cheers for football games. And then for competitive cheer, you spend hours on top of hours on top of hours for a 2.5-minute routine to perform. But those practices are definitely challenging physically and mentally, because most of the times you don't think you can make it through a practice because of how tired your body is. But being in competitive cheer has taught me so many things. It's made me a stronger athlete, and how do you say this? Like, people nowadays are like soft or like get their feelings hurt really easily, but with cheer, it's like they tell you something and you can't get your feelings hurt. They'll be like, "That was horrible. Like you're really bad." It's like, okay, well, let me fix it real quick. Like, that doesn't affect me or doesn't hurt me, but it feels like somebody else, they would be like, oh no, like they would get really down on themselves. And cheers taught me to always like look at the positives of life and to not be so like easy on yourself. Like, you always need to be hard on yourself to be better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, life's hard. You got to be hard on yourself to prepare for it.
Yep.
Okay, so going to college, want to play volleyball possibly, or pole vault, not cheer. And then what else do you see goal-wise in your future?
To definitely be a physical therapist or something like that. Somewhere in that career, or the judge. Or a lawyer. Always wanted to be one of those. Like, those are like my main goals, to go to college, play a sport, and then have a successful career, whether that's being a lawyer, or even if that's not what life has planned for me, then being successful in whatever I do.
Very good. What's your favorite course or class that you're taking at school right now?
I'd say art for sure, or not a fan of.
Oh, don't hurt my feelings.
No, I'm not. No, I love Coach Holbrook's English class, sophomore year. This year, questionable. But I also really like forensics. I've been really into that. I'm taking that this year, and it's actually really fun. I didn't think it was going to be as fun as I thought. Just learning about like crime scenes, because also whenever I was younger, I really wanted to be a cop or like an FBI agent or something. So like being that, I was like, okay, childhood Ashley was going to be kind of cool, not going to lie. But I'd say forensics is probably my most favorite class right now.
What do you think the hardest thing in life you've had to overcome?
I'd say probably whenever I was younger, having to pick between a sport, because I used to play soccer, and not to hype myself up or anything, but I was actually really good, and I had a future for that if I kept working at it. But it came to the point where I would miss soccer games for cheer, so my parents were like, Ashley, let's just pick one or the other. You can't do both. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to stick to cheer. And sometimes I do regret that, but most times I don't, because I wouldn't be the person I am today. But soccer really also was like a big impact in my life, and I do miss playing it sometimes.
But you're satisfied with your choice.
Yes, very satisfied.
Some of the stuff, so we keep talking about cheer. So some of the things I talked about, explain to us what a CA icon is. That's
like, so every team, the coaches pick athletes, like 4 or 5 athletes from the team to represent the gym. So like in total, it's about like 40 to 50 kids. And they send out things for you to do. It's like, go help your local animal shelter, go help the fire department, go help the kids in need, go make a basket for the homeless and stuff like that, just to like put a good name out there. And like CA's not all about just cheerleading, it's also about helping others.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it means, like helping others and creating a good environment.
And what does CA stand for?
Cheer athletics.
Oh, okay. And then this LFA Cheers Best Tumbler. What's LFA?
That was whenever I was little and I did woo cheer. I got the award for being the best tumbler on the team.
Oh, nice.
I was like, let's say 9, 10, but that award hanging in my room at the moment, I think.
Very good. If you could give advice to your younger self or to maybe some of the middle school kids that are that age, what piece of advice would you give them about sports and then also about life?
For sports, I would say try them all because you never know which one you're going to like more or less, and don't put a sport down just because you don't want to try it. To always work hard and give effort and to show that you care for a sport, and to always like stay motivated to do it and don't lose your motivation because of your parents or your coaches, because a lot of coaches always put down athletes and a lot of them say they hate the sport because of it. But like I see that as just work harder. Like even if you don't like your coach, your future is going to be better if you just work harder. And for the life, like the point of view, I'd say don't trust everybody. Like everybody's your friend, but don't give them the satisfaction of you telling like your whole life story, or else they're going to like take you for granted or use you. But always make friends with your enemies. Keep your enemies close, or your friends close and enemies closer. Just, my dad always taught me to be friends with everybody, no matter if they're the weird kids, the nerdy kids, like always be friends with them, because in life, like they're going to need someone. And how do you like put this? Like it's always good to have someone there for you. So like in high school, when I did go to school, I would always talk to like everybody, say hi to them, good morning, just to make sure their day was better, and just to like, not make it seem like I'm that girl at school. Like
The meanie.
Can't say that word, but that girl at school.
Oh. Okay. So last question for you.
Oh gosh.
What are your hopes for Lake Dallas volleyball athletes this upcoming year? Hopes, goals, and what do you see happening?
To make it to playoffs. Let's go. No, to actually make it to playoffs and to come together more as a team to win more games. Because last season, I don't remember a record, but it definitely wasn't good. Just to come together more. And I really see us this year making it to playoffs, making it far into the season, and I'm really excited for that. Seeing all the new players, what everybody has to bring to the team, I think it's going to be something very exciting, something new, something fun, fresh, and I'm just very excited for this season.
I agree. We've had a lot of growth this spring, and it was nice actually getting to have a spring this year. Last year we didn't get to have that thanks to the pandemic. But I'm anxious to see what awaits our program this upcoming season. One thing that I failed to mention at the beginning that you probably just noticed, Ashley is, what is it called? Nationally known on TikTok for one of her TikTok videos where she danced. Do you want to give us a little...
Which dance?
I don't know which one it is. I don't have a TikTok.
I'm pretty sure it was a cheer stunt, but I can do a dance for y'all.
Okay.
I just don't know which one. Oh, I just learned this new one. It was pretty good. Hold on. I need to remember. it's like, their head high, trying to make a beat, but that's it.
There you have it. Ashley Machuca, thank you for joining us today. Like the positive vibes and the positive dance moves, and I'll work on my boom. Okay.
Thank you for having me. Coffee with Coach.